Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have some half dollars to show you. We get to delve into some raw halves and talk a little bit about collecting these guys. And I've had a couple people mention on some live streams and etc. that it's really one of their favorite areas to collect, and they consider it to be somewhat of a under-collected and underappreciated area. And I understand where they're coming from. These guys here, a lot of your half dollars that are going to be from the early 1800s all the way through like the 30s are not that expensive. I mean, you can buy a lot of them well circulated examples for $30 to $75, and so that's a whole lot more of a budget friendly kind of thing that you can collect, especially if you're collecting circulated coins. And one of the fun things to me about the half dollars is that you can really collect lots of different types and varieties. This one here, for example, appears to have a clash die to it. You see this big bold line here, and then you've got this that up here. That would be where the ribbon is, right? So that actually has like a clash die. So a clash die is basically where the machine, the press, hits together without a piece of metal between it, and then it would leave the impression on the other side. And so usually you'll see both sides will have some type of those lines on them. Now this one a little bit harder to see on this side. It looks like there's a line there between the eagle's wing and the E in the pluribus. And so it's a fun series, and a lot of them have pretty high mintages, but the survival rates are all over the place. I mean, think about 1813. We took a little trip down the mighty Mississippi, I think, but then these went through all kinds of wars, melted down for other coins, etc., etc. And there's just all kinds of varieties to these. The book to use is the Overton book, and many people collect these coins by Overton, but that window seems to get smaller every year. And this is early die varieties, 1794 to 1836. Third edition, first printing. We're gonna look up a couple of coins here in just a minute and see, but I'll give you an idea here. Let's look really close at this 1833 and just get a feel for a coin that's kind of an extra fine type coin with some light cleaning to it. And that's you've got a whole nice rounded chin. It's not just the detail. So sometimes what's tricky is understanding there's detail of fine lines, which is easy to tell, right? So you've got your areas where there's really fine line work, like for example the shield, or maybe down by the eagle's talons and feet, and there's a little beading and stuff. Sometimes what's helpful, and you see this on popular shares like Morgan Dollars, is understanding the areas that have a big open rounded feature to them. So for example, how much of the Liberty cap is still available, even though there's very little line work, but even then, how much detail is available on that cheek, that jawline. Those areas are struck up nice. So overall, this is a real pretty piece. Like I said, they'd probably call it cleaned. They don't use the term lightly cleaned, they just say cleaned on these coins if you send it in. And also, one of the things, of course, anytime you're getting a new series, I still highly recommend just getting the red book out. So like, for example, what was that first year we looked at, 1813? They've got two main varieties they show here, mintages of 1.2 million. Inexpensive coins in the lower grades are going to be, $75 to $100 for those early issues. And then this 1833, we're going to have to turn the page, bright eyes. Let's see here, a couple pages maybe. 1833. And you're talking about 5 million made. They're not showing any major varieties in here in the red book, but you can just see how many varieties they do show. And there's lots of them. And so the Overton gets like really picky though. Once you get into the Overton book, because when you look at like 1833, which they're not showing any varieties for in that book, in the Overton book, they've got they'll have a breakdown. This is how Overton works, by the way. You've got all of this foreign language here means something, and you look at all the details here. They give you very specific written details but they'll still have several different varieties, right? For the same 1833 that's not even listed in the red book as having varieties. One of the things that I like about a lot of the varieties, some of them are really hard details to find, but some of them are really wonderfully obvious. So this here, 1829, you can almost see the variety on here with the naked eye. In fact, I know where it is. Usually we're talking about the date on a lot of these here. Here's another coin. Some scratches, some light cleaning to it, that type of thing. But if you look at the date, you can see right away at the base of the 2, there's a line down there, and then again here on the 9, and there's a straight line down there because this date is an 1829 over 1827. It is not over an 8. It's a 2 years later kind of thing, and there's actually multiple versions of this specific coin. So on this guy here, this is listed, by the way, in the red book as a variety. They've got the 29 9/7, and it's a tougher coin and higher grade. So this coin lists for close to double what the normal date does. And once again, you can use the red book always as a reference to kind of help you understand where things are at. It's not always precise, but at least you understand, okay, it looks like this coin's probably worth more than the other coins, and maybe possibly up to double of the same coin in a different without the variety. So the 1829, there's a lot of varieties listed in here, and it happens to be the first one. I think the first one listed in the book was the one that we want. Now they've got a couple different here. So we got a 29/7. There's actually 2 versions that they describe for the 29/7. And then this is the main number. When you see an Overton number on a slab, so that 102, so this is Overton 102, smaller 5 with filled top. And then here we go back to the other version. And they're showing a picture of that 29/27, obverse 1. 101, and so they get into the details of how to tell the difference between 101. There's 101A. There's a 102. There's a lot you can get into. Just a lot. There's a lot of there, right? And so next up, I've got one more to show you, which is kind of fun. Which also same thing. I mean, just coins that you have sometimes that you look at, and sometimes you can see right away something going on, and sometimes you need help. But this one was fun, because this 1836 has this dot to the right of the 6. And so we'll take a closer look here. You can see it a little bit better, I think, on this one. So there's that dot to the right of 6. There's also some type of a line worked in there, but that also, some of these early dates are fun because, like the 8, I mean, it looked like I drew it, and some of you have seen my drawings. So it's not pretty. 1836. So in the red book, we'll take a quick look and see if they show this type or not. 1836, they've got the 36/1336, 50/100, beaded border reverse. They don't show this variety in here. So it'll take more research to figure out, what this is going to be worth, because the red book doesn't have kind of a base starting point for us. Then you end up doing more research down the road here. But on the 1836 in our Overton book, let's see here, they actually list it as looks like an Overton 112 bar dot upper 6. Overton 112. And so something then what we do is, I would take the time to look and see if I can find an Overton 112 number. And usually if you're doing things the right way, you want to, not look things up 3 times. So you'd actually go ahead and write, the number on there so you can remember it for later. But anyways, lots of fun. It's a really neat area to collect, and it's one of those areas where you can usually still find, relatively inexpensive raw coins, because most of these coins in lower grade, you can pick them up and it's not worth people sending them in to get them certified, so there's not a lot of them certified. So you can always go ahead and look at your local coin shops for raw versions of these coins. It's kind of a fun area to collect. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I've been the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.